A UN convoy in Gaza was stopped and held at gunpoint by Israeli forces on Monday, according to the United Nations. The convoy, which was on its way to help with the polio vaccination campaign for thousands of Palestinian children, was stopped at a checkpoint. Israeli soldiers wanted to question two Palestinian UN staff members who were part of the group. The situation escalated when the soldiers surrounded the convoy, pointed their weapons at UN staff, and used tanks and bulldozers to ram the vehicles. The UN staff were trapped inside the convoy for over 7 hours. At one point, a bulldozer even dropped debris on the front of the vehicle, preventing anyone from safely getting out. The Israeli military later said the convoy was stopped because they had intelligence that Palestinian suspects were on board, but they released them after questioning. They also clarified that the convoy was not carrying vaccines, but was a part of a UN personnel rotation. The UN condemned the incident, saying they put their staff at risk.
Yesterday's incident involving a UN convoy stopped by Israeli forces is the latest example of the unacceptable dangers and impediment that humanitarian personnel in Gaza are experiencing. The convoy was carrying 12 staff members on their way to support the polio vaccination campaign in northern Gaza. Its movements were fully coordinated with Israeli forces and all details provided ahead of time. When the team was stopped at the al-Rashid checkpoint, they were informed that Israeli forces wanted to hold 2 UN staff members in the convoy for questioning. The situation escalated very quickly, with soldiers pointing their weapons directly towards our personnel in the convoy. The UN vehicles were encircled by Israeli forces and shots were fired. The convoy was then approached by IDF tanks and a bulldozer, which proceeded to ram the UN vehicles from the front and from the back, compacting the convoy with the UN staff inside. One bulldozer dropped debris on the first vehicle, while Israeli soldiers threatened staff, making it impossible for them to safely exit the vehicles. The convoy remained at gunpoint as senior UN officials engaged with Israeli authorities in an effort to de-escalate the situation. The 2 staff members were interrogated by Israeli forces and then released back to us. After 7.5 hours at the checkpoint, the convoy returned to base after being unable to complete its humanitarian mission, but all personnel came back. This incident and the conduct of Israeli forces on the ground put the lives of our staff in danger. It is critical that Israeli forces take measures to protect humanitarian staff and assets and to facilitate their work. This is what international humanitarian law requires. Despite this incident, our partners were able to start the polio vaccination campaign in northern Gaza today. This is the 3rd phase of the campaign and is expected to continue through Thursday. UNRWA says thousands of children in North Gaza have been vaccinated so far. We hope to have the more details later or tomorrow.
This comes just 2 weeks after another incident where bullets hit a UN World Food Programme vehicle near Israeli military checkpoint. Israel explained that the previous incident was due to a communication error, but the UN is still waiting for a full investigation report.